This is the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Lord. James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came forward to Jesus and said to him, "Teacher, we want you to do for us whatever we ask of you." And he said to them, "What is it you want me to do for you?" And they said to him, "Grant us to sit, one at your right hand and one at your left, in your glory." But Jesus said to them, "You do not know what you are asking. Are you able to drink the cup that I drink, or be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with?" They replied, "We are able." Then Jesus said to them, "The cup that I drink you will drink, and the baptism with which I baptize you will be baptized. But to sit at my right hand or at my left is not mine to grant, but it is for those for whom it has been prepared." When the 10 heard this, they began to be angry with James and John. So Jesus called them and said to them, "You know that among the Gentiles, those whom they recognize as their rulers lord it over them, and their great ones are tyrants over them. But it is not so among you. But whoever wishes to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wishes to be first among you must be slave of all. For the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life a ransom for many." The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, O Christ. So James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came forward to Jesus and said to him, "Teacher, we want you to do for us whatever we ask of you." As a father of boys, I think I can say that in my experience, when a couple of brothers come to you and say, "We want you to do for us whatever we ask of you," there's a pretty good chance the answer is going to be no. Right? If someone is looking for you to say yes before they even tell you what the question is, well, then that's certainly a red flag, isn't it? The disciples, they had a speak first, ask questions later way about them much of the time. And that was certainly the situation here with James and John, who made this special request of Jesus: "Grant us to sit, one at your right hand and one at your left, in your glory." I think we can understand a little bit about the desire of James and John to come to Jesus seeking something for themselves. They were only trying to do what was best for them. Wherever this journey with Jesus was heading, they wanted to be sure that they were going to be taken care of, that they would get something out of it for them. "Let us sit at your right hand and at your left in your glory." That seems like a reasonable request, even if it is self-serving. There's just one problem, and that's that Jesus is not bound for glory. You and I know this, but the disciples really weren't understanding that yet. So Jesus had to explain it to them once again. His way of doing things, his purpose, the purpose for which he came into the world, was not glory, not worldly greatness, but it is to serve and to give his life. As much as we might want to tisk James and John and the rest of them, I think deep down it's just as hard for us to accept this as it was for the disciples. Because the way of doing things that Jesus talks about just goes against everything we know. Jesus says, "You know that in the world the great ones are the ones who are tyrants, and the rulers lord it over the people." And that's still the way it works, isn't it? Greatness is still something gained too often through tyranny. Power is used for personal gain. Rulers act like lords. To get ahead, to be successful, to be noticed, it seems we have to do so as well. Oh, Jesus, do just this one thing for me. Grant me some glory. But that's not supposed to be the way it is for us, Jesus says. Among you, among us, we are to seek to follow him and be Christians by being great through serving. Whoever wants to be great among you will be your servant. Well, here again is Jesus turning our world upside down so that the way of things, the way of power and rulers and greatness that we see around us, our own pursuits of accomplishment and prestige and honor, all these things are shown to be what they truly are. Wrong, misguided, distractions. Jesus shines the light of truth on James and John and on us and says, no. The answer is no. I'm not going to give you this glory you are asking for. I am going to make you servants instead. Jesus, who came not to be served, but to serve, who came not to save his life, but to give his life for you and me, Jesus shows us the way. A new kind of greatness. And it's not about personal accomplishment or name recognition or power. It is his way of love and mercy. It is in the act of giving ourselves away. And I think we know this, don't we? We may be stubborn like James and John sometimes and act like we only want to get what's good for us. But we know this is what God asks of us. Love and service. We know it deep in our bones. And sometimes we get it. And we live this way of Jesus rightly. And it's beautiful. And so today, I want to share with you a few examples of the beauty of love and service that I've seen and thought about recently. Like, I stopped by the Village Square Theater this past week. I only went to say hello to a few people, but I happened upon a rehearsal for the upcoming Penguin Project show that's happening there. A Penguin Project show is a musical theater production where children with developmental disabilities get to be in the show. They are partnered with a youth mentor who works on stage with them. And so the goal of the show is not to have the most perfect show of all time. The goal is to give children who might never have the experience of doing live theater the opportunity of being on stage and the joy of performing. And think about those young mentors. They are giving up the chance to be the stars of the show so they can give this beautiful opportunity to someone else. Or, you heard, we'll soon begin the big undertaking of preparing Thanksgiving meals here at Zion that will go to feed our community. If you've never seen this ministry in action, it is a sight to behold. The tireless hours of those who cook turkeys all week long, the many, many people who give food and donations of support, those who come out on Thanksgiving morning to pack and deliver meals. It always amazes me how many people, 100, 200, who get up early on Thanksgiving morning to serve in this way. They give up sleeping in on a day off, give up the chance to relax with their family or watch the Thanksgiving parade so they can love their neighbors in this beautiful way. Last week, I stopped by to see someone who was in the nursing home. She has dementia, and she needs lots of care for all her daily needs. I found her in the dining room. Her husband was there with her. He was feeding her a late lunch, one bite at a time, with so much patience and gentleness. He goes there every day and does this, gives up his own lunch plans, much of his day, to sit and feed this one he loves. And it is beautiful. What do you think gives all these people this idea that they should give up looking out for themselves so they can look out and love and serve another? Maybe it's Jesus. Jesus, their Lord. And where do you see that happening? Where is the way of Jesus, the way of love and mercy and giving ourselves away? Where is it alive and changing the world for better? Let us be on the lookout for that kind of greatness, that sort of beauty, to seek it and celebrate it and live into it. Jesus empowers us to do just this. And Jesus promises to be with us as we do. Amen.